If you don't know the numbers of your business and you're not familiar with how much money you're taking in, how much money you're expensing, how much money you have left over for yourself and as a CEO, and how much money you have left over to reinvest that money, then you're just playing a guessing game. Without certainty around your numbers, you can't possibly budget or plan and make aligned decisions with how you want your business to grow in the future. Hey, I'm Lisa. If you don't know me, I am a tutor coach. I own my own tutoring business and have done so for over 10 years. So on this channel, I share with you tips of the trade, what I've learned over my time being a tutoring business owner, and share with you how you can get help from me if you're a tutoring business owner looking to grow your business as well. So if you're interested in any of these things, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. Let's talk about what we're going to move into today. First, we're going to talk about why knowing your numbers in your tutoring business is important. Second is we're going to look at numbers inside your business so that you understand exactly what you should be looking at and what they mean. Third is what numbers do you need to know in order to grow a sustainable and scalable business? And fourth is your money emotional intelligence. It's all good for you to know what you need to do, but it's another thing to actually be able to go ahead and do it. So let's get into the video. Firstly, it comes down to the health of your business. If you don't know the numbers of your business and you're not familiar with how much money you're taking in, how much money you're expensing, how much money you have left over for yourself and as a CEO, and how much money you have left over to reinvest that money, then you're just playing a guessing game. Without certainty around your numbers, you can't possibly budget or plan and make aligned decisions with how you want your business to grow in the future. And hey, not all tutoring businesses are looking to scale rapidly or expand massively, and that's completely okay. If you're somebody who just wants your business to be sustainable in the long term, knowing your numbers is still really important. So whether or not you are somebody who's just looking to keep things sustainable in the long run, or you're somebody who wants it to be both sustainable and have the option to grow, then knowing your numbers is crucial so that you can actually make the right decisions by your business so that it's going to head in the direction that you want it to. Knowing your numbers is something that any CEO must understand. And I know this because I made a very, very big mistake for a very long time. And it was the fact that I didn't know my numbers in the early days. And I used to procrastinate on getting to know my numbers because the excuse was, oh, I'm just not very good at numbers. And so therefore I'm not going to be proactive and learn about them properly. Also, I didn't know where to learn about them. So that's why I created this video for you all, because I get so many comments asking me about how much to be paying tutors, which I will tackle later on in this video. And not knowing my numbers actually created a myriad of problems. One, when I was expanding my team, I actually ended up paying my tutors too much, which meant that I was actually charging my students too little. I was paying myself too little as well, and I had no idea how much to reinvest in the business. And because I didn't know my finances, I lost hundreds and thousands of dollars in missed opportunity, and I don't want that for you. This led to a lot of anxiety for me. Whenever I did payroll, paying my tutors, I'd feel incredibly anxious, uncomfortable, and I just hated looking at the numbers. My financial literacy was just not up to scratch, which is why I want your financial literacy to be on point so that you know exactly what business decisions you need to make in order to grow your business in the way you want to. Let's break down the numbers in your tutoring business. So essentially when it comes to any tutoring business, you can have a look at your profit and loss statement. If you're somebody who is currently not keeping a track of your financials in a software, then I highly recommend that you do so once you get up to a stage when you really do want to take your tutoring business seriously and you want to know your numbers. I didn't have an accounting software for my business when I was just tutoring for myself because I didn't see it as necessary. But once I actually started to have more and more expenses, once I started hiring tutors, that's when subscribing to an accounting software is really beneficial for you, because that way you have clarity on your exact numbers, what's coming in and what's going out per month. So the software that I use is called Xero. There are many other options out there, so feel free to have a look to see what suits you best. They all are very similar in what they can offer you. So I'm going to go through the higher level numbers that any tutoring business owner should know, whether you're somebody who is just tutoring for yourself or you're somebody who is a little further along, you're starting to hire and expand in your team. The first number you need to know is your revenue. Your revenue is the amount of income generated from the sale of your company's goods and services. So for a tutoring business, this is mainly tutoring. However, if you offer any other service or product such as study guides, online courses, then you can add this to your revenue. Let's just say your business makes a total revenue of $100,000. The next number you need to know is your gross profit. Your gross profit is your profit remaining after you deduct the cost of goods sold. So for a tutoring business, a cost of goods sold is usually your tutor expenses, any cost involved to produce the study guide or the online course. The way I like to personally think of cost of sales is that you can't actually make the sale without having that cost involved. So for example, if you've hired a tutor, then you can't actually have that session be held without actually having the tutor themselves. So that's why they are involved in the cost of sales. Now, if you're a solo tutor, then you can put yourself as an expense in the cost of goods sold. So let's just say for this company we've made up, you are making $100,000 in revenue. You have tutors who are working for you who take, let's say, 50% of the cut. So the cost of goods sold is $50,000 in order for you to make that $100,000, which means you're left over with $50,000 in gross profit. So the next part is your operating expenses. Your operating expenses is basically anything else that's required in order for your business to run. So we're talking about things like rent if you have a tutoring center. We're talking about hiring your accountant to do your numbers for you, office expenses such as your laptop, telephone and internet, insurance. The list goes on and they're unique for each different company. But these ones that I've mentioned here are generally the ones that you can see in every single business. So let's say for rent, you might pay $10,000 each year for rent. You may pay $500 in your telephone and internet. You may have $2,000 in your office expenses and another $2,000 when it comes to your accounting. So your total operating expense is $14,500. So then the final number we have is your net profit. So your net profit is your profit after all of your expenses, including the cost of goods sold and the operating expenses. So if we deduct $50,000, which is the cost of goods sold, and also $14,500 from your operating expenses, this leaves you with a net profit of $35,500. And these are the main numbers you need to know in order to run your tutoring business. Now, I'm sure you still have plenty of questions. If anything, you probably have more questions than you did before. Let's move into the next part of this video, which is what numbers do I need to know in order to have a sustainable and scalable business? One of the biggest questions tutoring business owners have is, how much do I actually pay myself in my business? And honestly, this is something that is very personal and up to you, and it's very much dependent on your personal circumstances. The easy way to think about this is the less you take away from the business, so therefore the less you pay yourself, the more money you have left over in your business to actually reinvest in the business. But there are a myriad of factors for you to actually think about. First is, are you surviving as a business owner? Do you actually need to pay yourself money in order to cover your rent, your food, whatever daily life expenses that are necessary? If you're somebody who has all of that covered, then potentially you don't need to take any money out of the business at all, and you can really just use that money to feed back into the business and to really grow the business. So for me personally, when I started my tutoring business, I was still living at home with my parents, and so I didn't need to take out my money as much, whereas these days I have my own mortgage, I have life expenses that I need to take care of, and so I do take a bigger portion of pay from my business. Other factors you want to think about as well is, as a business owner, especially in Australia, I think this is also the case in many other countries, is that it impacts your ability to borrow from the banks. If you're somebody who sees yourself needing to borrow money from the bank, just know that banks do not look at business owners in a good light. We actually struggle to get loans a lot more than someone who is employed by somebody else. Employees are seen seen as having stable jobs, they have regular incomes, and so they're less risky for banks to lend money out to, as opposed to business owners where our income is fluctuating, things are going up and down, we're considered a lot more risky. So I really had to take that into consideration when I was going out and looking to buy a home for myself, because knowing that I was a business owner actually meant that it was harder for me to try to secure a loan from the bank. So these are just some of the factors you need to be aware of. I had no idea that this was the case. So several years ago when I was looking to purchase my first investment property, I was actually held back for a couple of years because I wasn't actually taking any money out of the business. So it looked like I was making no money for myself, which the banks really did not like. And so I actually had to change up the way that I was paying myself so that by the time I came to the banks 2 years later, they looked at my numbers and were happy with what they saw and would actually give me a loan. The second point of consideration here is when you move from being a solo tutor of your business and you start hiring, and you either start hiring tutors or you start expanding your internal team, like hiring a marketer, a salesperson, an admin person, these expenses are going to be your biggest expenses because you're paying people. People are the most expensive expense in any business. And so what I find when I talk to tutoring business owners or I work with my clients, one, they're actually charging their parents and students too little. Second, they're paying their tutors too much. And three, they're actually not even paying themselves because these numbers are all incorrect, and so they've got no money left over to pay themselves properly. And so it's really important that you're considering each one of these aspects of your business, your customers, your people who are working for you, you as the CEO, when you look at the numbers in your business. If you're somebody who resonates with all this, but you still feel like you need personalized help, then that's where potentially coaching with me may come into things. One thing I'm really good at, having had all these experiences making these mistakes, is that I know now exactly what the tutoring ratios are that you need in your business for you to build a sustainable and scalable business. So what numbers do we need for your revenue, your gross profit, your net profit, and how much expenses are going in and out of your business each month? And so what we do is I help you with your pricing, so making sure that you're actually charging enough, knowing how much to roll out a price increase without backlash, minimizing your expenses side of things, so thinking about how we can automate as much that is done manually, what software investments will be worth it for you to really streamline your work, how much is left over so you can actually pay yourself properly, and then actually starting to decide what sort of reinvestments do you want to be making in business in order for you to get to your next dream goal. My coaching program is called Master Your Tutoring Game Plan, where we help you build a sustainable and scalable tutoring engine in just 90 days. So we go through the A to Z of everything you need to know in order to build your tutoring business, from your sales to your marketing to the delivery of your sessions themselves. So making sure that your tutors are delivering top-notch quality for their students under your company. So we cover systems to automate and streamline your work so that you can free up your time so that you can work on the fifth thing, which is your CEO mindset. So CEO mindset comes down to some of the things we've talked about today, knowing your financials so that you can actually make the right business decisions with confidence. So if you are interested in getting coaching with me, then just hit me up. You can either send me an email, I'll shoot it in the description box below, or send me an Instagram DM and we can get talking. It's all good and well for you to know the numbers of your business, but actually taking aligned action to grow your business is actually the biggest hurdle. So for example, making the choice to actually increase your prices for your parents and students, making the choice that you actually need to be paying your tutors less in order for your business to be sustainable is something that requires a lot of grit, a lot of courage. And I know this because I actually had to do both of those things before. As business owners, we want to be paying our tutors as much as we possibly can. Like, that is something that if you're like me, like, you want the best for everybody. But unfortunately, I was actually paying my tutors too much at one point in time. And I got told by my advisor that, hey, if you're gonna go this way, then you're not gonna have a business in the long term. So it was really hard to do. And I know when working with my own coaching clients that when it comes to money, we have all these emotions tied to it. We feel bad for increasing prices. We feel scared to increase prices because we don't know what people are gonna say. We think that they're gonna hate us. We think that they're gonna leave bad reviews. We think that they're going to leave us. We feel guilty and anxious when it comes to discussing pays with tutors. And so all of these emotions actually really inhibit you from making the best decision for your business. I with my anxiety when it came to paying tutors, with not knowing my numbers, that really slowed me down for so many years because I didn't know how to deal with my own emotions when it came to money. And as the CEO, this is something that you cannot afford to have stopping you from making the right decisions for your business. So working through your self-limiting beliefs, understanding your emotional intelligence and having an awareness of that is really crucial in order for you to start building a tutoring business that you're going to be truly happy with in the long term. If you've reached all the way until the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. It would mean so much to me if you could leave a comment sharing with me what are your limiting beliefs when it comes to money. I know that you're not alone in how you're feeling about money, so I think we can have a really great discussion together on some of the ways that we can try to tackle them. Leaving a comment also will let me know that you've actually reached until the very end of this video. So thank you so much. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I really wish that someone had created this video for me back in 2015 when I was starting to hire my own tutors. If you liked it, make sure you like, subscribe, all the good things, and I will see you next time. Bye.